I'm a very courteous person. So I don't enjoy when ADs are looking at themselves or when they lean into the stereotype of the shouty AD or the whip cracking AD. I just don't, I'm not like that. I look at my job is that I'm a communicator, and the finesse in my job, the skill, the art in my job is to read different people's personal language, to be able to communicate in different vocabularies, to use different personal examples, to learn people's language, the way they look at the world, the way they translate, the way they understand the world. Every single department will have, if you were to describe the requirements for a scene, every single department will have a very different interest, and they will prioritize their interests. So when you walk up to a person and you're asking a question, you're asking a very different question, even if you're using the exact same words between departments. You know, the simple question of how long do you need is a very different question for different departments. And if you can anticipate, or if you kind of know the answer, but you're just asking the question because you want to be polite, which often happens, or not just polite, but this is the polite way of rushing them instead of, hey, we have 5 minutes. It's more, especially the English crew really appreciates it when you're not rude, when you have that politeness, when you know how to be a good communicator. So I really, really appreciate when people take the time, the effort to ease the person's job that they're talking to, so that they don't have to do the translation. They don't have to figure out what you want from them, but you're doing the translation and you're asking the questions in a way that is meaningful for them. But I like changing my style of communication based on the person that I'm talking to. If someone is a bit informal, if someone is a bit more jokey, if someone is a bit more loose, I'm not going to be too rigid around them. I'm genuinely loosening up. I'm not putting on a show. I'm not pretending. I'm not being somebody else. I'm finding my natural looser side so that we get on the same level. If someone is just not up for joking, if someone is just a very strict person, I'm not going to try to loosen them up with a joke. I'm going to try to match their personality so that they feel comfortable. So I'm trying to do the personal work so that the communication between us is effective. Because films are this very interesting dynamic that people who have never met each other before, never talked to each other before, don't know anything about each other, immediately have to get along with each other. And it helps, it eases this dynamic a lot if you as the communicator are able to fill in the gaps. You know, especially when they're very, as you're growing up to be a first AD, when there is a director and DP duo who have very different personal pace. That's a very, very interesting dynamic. So say one of them is fast talking, fast thinking, they just want to do everything boom, 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 boom. And the other just needs a bit more time to feel into it and to ponder and put together a sentence. And when those two need to communicate with each other, you're the one in the middle who translates, energetically translates as well, who's like, if one is getting impatient, if one is, it's usually the person who's a bit faster, the other person can get on their nerves very quickly, very easily. So you're the buffer field between them. You know, you're downscaling this one and you're upscaling that one so the two don't clash.